Hello everyone, I welcome you all. So in previous lecture we have discussed about the what is control volume, what is the control mass, then what is the property of the system, how to define the property of a system, and density, specific density, density, etc. In today's lecture we are going to study about what is a, what do you mean by pressure. Then we will study about thermodynamic state, what is the process. Then we will study about thermodynamic equilibrium. Okay. So first we will start with the pressure. What do you mean by pressure? So in simple definition, pressure is normal force exerted by a fluid per unit area. Okay. Means if here the fluid means gas or so what does it mean? If let us consider we have a container. In the container we have some liquid filled. The container is completely filled by a liquid. Okay. And the height of it is h. Let us consider that this area of cross section is capital A and this container is a cylindrical one. Okay. So if I want to find out what is the pressure at this bottom, okay, the bottom of this container, what is the value of the pressure at the bottom of this container? So what? How can I find out? I have to just find out what is the value of force which is working on this surface, and that force per unit area will be the pressure. Okay. So we can easily find out that force which will be working on this bottom will be the weight of this liquid. So how I can find out the weight? So weight will be W is equal to M into G, where mass can be replaced by density into volume into G. Now we know that area of this cross section is capital A and height is h. So volume can be replaced by capital A into h into G. Okay. So pressure will be P is equal to force per unit area, and area cross section area is capital A, and that force is equal to weight of the liquid. So weight by capital A. If we put the value of weight from equation, then rho capital A h into G divided by capital A. So A cancel. From here, you can find out that pressure is equal to rho G into H. Okay. Here, rho is the density of the fluid. G we already know, it's the gravitational constant or gravitational acceleration. Sorry. H is the liquid column height, up to which height the liquid is filled inside the liquid or fluid is filled inside that. Okay. So we can easily see that pressure is rho G into H. Now, one thing I would like to tell you that here I have not considered the pressure because it is this a container is open to atmosphere. So one atmospheric pressure will be working on this. In atmosphere we have air. So that pressure will also be working on this surface. Okay, this will be P atmosphere. In this equation, I have not taken the consideration of atmospheric pressure. If I want to find out the absolute pressure, then I have to take the atmospheric pressure into consideration. Then the pressure will be P atmospheric plus rho into G into H. In further lecture, I will show you what is the difference between absolute pressure and gauge pressure and atmospheric pressure. Okay. So overall, this is the idea of pressure. From here, we can find out what is the unit of pressure. We know that force unit is Newton, area unit is meter square. So Newton per meter square is the unit of pressure. This is also called Pascal. Okay. So this is the unit of pressure. Okay. Since the Pascal is very small unit, so whatever pressure we are using in practical problems, that is very high. If we denote in terms of Pascal, then so we use that unit mostly kilopascal. Okay. There are some other units like 1 bar for pressure. So 1 bar simply used is equal to 10 ki power 5 Pascal or 10 ki power 2 kilopascal. Similarly, if I am saying 1 atmospheric, which you have heard that pressure is 1 atmospheric. What do you mean by one atmospheric? That is 101.325 kilopascal, or you can say 1.01325 bar. Okay. So these conversion you have to remember. How to convert the pressure from bar to Pascal? What do you mean by 1 atmospheric pressure? Okay. So this is the pressure on sea level which is acting upon us. This is the value of that pressure. Okay. So now when we talk about in case of gases, what do you mean by pressure in case of gases? Okay. So in case of gases, pressure is due to average force applied by the molecules as they collide the wall of the container. Here we can write pressure in gases. Okay. So as they collide, the gas molecule as they collide the wall of the container, which generates the pressure. How? Let us see. Let us consider that this is a container, and inside that container, gas is filled. Okay. So we all know that continuously the molecules of the gas are in a random motion. Okay. So if during this random motion the number of molecules they tend to collide this wall, then it comes back. Similarly, another molecule it will collide into wall and then it will come back. Similarly, thousands of or lakhs of molecules are continuously colliding to wall and changing its direction. Okay. So how that collision is giving the rise to pressure? We all know that from the Newton's second law, that rate of change of momentum is equal to what? Force. Okay, so what we can see, we can write dp, where p is the momentum, over dt is equal to force. Okay, and p, we know that momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Okay, so when, let us consider molecule. Let's consider there is a molecule, this red one. It has started moving towards the wall. It has collided and then changed the direction. The change in momentum means initial momentum pi and final momentum pf. So mass is constant, so there is a change of velocity. So change in momentum will give a rise to force, or change in momentum of the molecule will give a force to the wall. So that force, or average force, because there are number of molecules per unit area of the wall, is called pressure in case of gases. Okay. Once again, I will tell you that there are number of molecules which are in random motion. So as they are in random motion, they tend to collide the wall of the container. जब वो कंटेनर की वॉल से कोलाइड करते हैं, तो जैसे ही कोलाइड किया, इनके मोमेंटम में एक चेंज आ रहा है. क्यों? क्योंकि even though the mass is if the mass is constant, the velocity is changing. So if I am putting here p delta p, so what will be delta p? Mass is constant, vf final velocity minus initial velocity. Don't consider this the volume. This is right now velocity, and this is the momentum. I don't no need to write, it's already written. It is the momentum. Okay, so this will be a change in momentum, and the rate of change of that momentum is called force. And that there are number of or thousands of molecules are colliding continuously on the wall of the container. So that average force per unit area of that container or that wall is called pressure exerted by a gas. Okay, so we can easily see, if I start heating this container, what will happen? The energy of the molecules will increase. Okay, so if the energy of molecule will increase, the motion, random motion will increase. Now they will, with high energy, they will strike to the walls. So the pressure, the average force value will increase. So the pressure of gas will increase. Okay, so you can easily visualize here why the pressure will increase when we heat this container. Okay, so that's it for the pressure. Now let me tell you what is the relationship between P gauge, P absolute, and P atmospheric. Okay, so let me draw a diagram. So this is the P atmospheric. Here is the absolute zero pressure or absolute vacuum. So let us consider that we have to find out, this is a point PA, and here another point PB. Okay, let me here. So now draw one more line. A distance. Okay. So if I am let me tell, if let us if we want to measure the pressure of at point A. So if I am measuring that pressure from the absolute zero pressure or absolute vacuum pressure, then this pressure is called P absolute. Okay. But if same pressure I am measuring above the atmospheric pressure, means this much, then this pressure is called P gauge. Okay. So what we can analyze from here, that gauge pressure is measured keeping a reference of atmospheric pressure. Gauge pressure either measured above the atmospheric pressure or below the atmospheric pressure. Below, I will tell you in a while. Let us first consider the pressure above the atmospheric pressure. So if I am measuring the pressure above the atmospheric pressure, then it will call gauge pressure. Similarly, if the same pressure I am measuring from absolute zero, then it will call absolute pressure. So you from here you can we can easily establish a relation. You can easily establish a relation that P absolute, I'm putting ABS, that is the short form for absolute. P absolute is equal to P atmospheric plus P gauge. Okay, this is the first relation between the atmospheric pressure and absolute pressure and gauge pressure. This much is the atmospheric pressure. So if I am adding atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure, then it is giving me a absolute pressure. Okay. Now let us consider, we have to find out the pressure of this point. Okay. Similarly, again, as here, if I am measuring the pressure from absolute zero, this line, then this will called P absolute. And again, if I am measuring the pressure from atmospheric with reference to atmospheric pressure, then it will be called P gauge. But now what is the difference? The difference is, this time we are measuring the pressure less than atmospheric pressure. Okay, so that's why it is called vacuum gauge, or we can also call it negative pressure, negative gauge pressure. Okay, so now what will that, if I want to find out the pressure at B point, so what will be the change in this equation? Just the value of pressure, gauge pressure, will be negative. So we can easily see here that P absolute is equal to P atmospheric minus P gauge or gauge vacuum. So just learn that what is the difference between absolute vacuum or gauge vacuum. Gauge vacuum means the pressure inside. If I am saying that there is a container, okay, I am saying the pressure is 20 kilo, sorry, 20 kilopascal. Gauge vacuum. Okay, that means the pressure is below the 20 kilopascal, below the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure, I have already told you, is it's 101.325. This is the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so below this atmospheric pressure, 20 kilopascal is the pressure inside this container. Similarly, if I am saying that it is absolute zero pressure or absolute vacuum, then it means the pressure P absolute is equal to zero. There is no pressure. Absolute vacuum. Okay. So I hope now you would have got an idea about what is the gauge pressure, then what is the absolute pressure, and what is the atmospheric pressure. Okay, now we'll move forward. Thermodynamic state. So what do you mean by thermodynamic state? So thermodynamic state is the condition of any system which can be defined with the help of the properties of that system is called thermodynamic state. What do you mean by that? Let us consider. Sorry. If there is some fluid is there. Okay. So at this time, if the piston is stationary or the system is in equilibrium, then I can define a volume of this piston cylinder system. I can define the temperature of this piston cylinder system, and I can also define the pressure of this piston cylinder system. Okay, so this state where this system is just now, or the condition in which this system is right now, can be defined with the help of these properties. Okay, so that condition is called state, thermodynamic state of that system. Okay, so it is, we can write easily that condition of the system which can be defined by its property is called state. Okay, now after state, what do you mean by process? Okay, so process means, let us just consider, I have started heating this arrangement. Somehow I am giving the heat energy. Okay, so what will happen? The pressure inside this cylinder will the cylinder will increase. So as the piston is free to move, the piston will move outwards. Let us consider that the final position of the piston is this one. Okay, this one is the final position of the piston. But now we can see in this position the volume will be different, temperature may be different, and pressure may be different or not different. That I will tell you in coming lecture. Let us consider the pressure is right now P2. Okay, so you see that we can definitely say that volume is definitely changed. Here the volume was this much, and now the volume is this much. So the value of even one property has been changed. So the state of that system has been changed. Okay, so system has moved from state 1 to state 2. Okay, so this change in state is called the process of that system. Okay, so we can write the change in state of the system is called process. In this example, state is changing from 1 to, okay. So this is a process 1 to 2. System is moving from state 1 to state 2. So system is going through a process to reach from state 1 to state 2, okay. Now what do you mean by next is path? Okay, so before discussing the path, let us take an example. To have a clear idea about what do you mean by state. Let us consider there are two locations, A or B, point A and point B. Okay, and I have to go from point A to point B. In between the point A, there are one big location and some small locations. Okay, so I have to move, I have to go from point A to point B. Let us consider that right now point A is Darbhanga DBG, point B is Patna. So I have to move from Darbhanga to Patna. The center position is Muzaffarpur. Okay, so when I am moving from Darbhanga to Muzaffarpur, I am going through the process with in which process I am moving from state A to state B. When I am in Darbhanga, I am in state A. When I have reached in Patna, I am state B. Okay, but during that state, the number of series of state which I have passed. Okay, I have passed from Muzaffarpur and in between small villages or small locations. Similarly, here from Muzaffarpur to Patna, I have passed small locations. So that all series of states which can define, like if I am standing right at any point, I am standing at this point, at this point. It is called, this is Hajipur. Okay, I am just giving the example. Okay, so this is the Hajipur. So I can define, I can, if anybody asks me that where are you, so I can easily say that I am in Hajipur. But if there is no, I am moving on highway and there is no कोई शहर नहीं है या कोई गांव नहीं है उस जहाँ पे मैं मूव कर रहा हूँ, then I cannot define my state. Okay, similarly if I am in Patna, I can easily say that I am in Patna. I can right now, I am can define my state with the help of the properties which I have, which are available there. Okay, but if I am going on the highway where there is no village or there is no any city, then I cannot define where I am. Okay, with the help of that city or village name. Okay, so there are number of states through which I have passed from state A to state B. So these series of states are called path. Okay, so for going from state A to state B, I have crossed number of states. Like I have crossed from Muzaffarpur, then I have crossed from Hajipur, or I have crossed from Vaishali. So many states I have crossed. So these series of states, when I am joining these series of states, the curve which I am having is called my path. This path I have followed during my this process A to B. Okay, so there can be a number of paths possible to reach from Darbhanga to Patna, if I am not considering only the road transportation. Okay. Similarly, when I am defining in case of thermodynamic system, the system has moved from position 1 to position 2. Okay. So initial condition question was here and final condition question is here. In between, there are number of pressure and volume or temperature conditions are there. Okay, so if I want to plot a PV diagram, pressure and volume. Let us consider that first position one is this. Okay, and final position is this. Right now, I am just telling you that pressure will be same is the if the piston is free to move. So I can tell you that P1 is equal to P2. How is that occurring? That I will tell you in coming lecture. Okay. So pressure is same means P1 and P2 value is same. So P1 is one state and P2 is another state. But for going from one state to another state, system is passing through number of states, number of values of volume. Okay, here you can see that at this point the volume will be different. Similarly, at this point, there are infinite points, number of points through which the system would have passed to reach from state 1 to state 2. Okay, so this path, the series of states is called path. Okay, from 1 to 2. So you can easily see that there can be a number of combination, a number of path to reach from process to state 1 to 2. This path. Firstly, I want to go upward, then want to come downward. So there can be infinite number of paths that system can follow from for going from process A to. Okay. So path we can define the series of states through which the system passes is called process path. Okay. In this example, what is the process? Process is 1 to 2. Okay. So I hope now you have idea what is the thermodynamic state. A state is a condition of any system which can be defined by the properties of that system. Okay, that is called state of that system. Process. If the state of any system is changing, then that is called a process. Similarly, if the system is following up or going through a process like process 1 to 2, so those then series of states through which that system is passing to reach from process 1 to process 2 is called path or path followed by the system. Okay. Then after that we'll move to study what do you mean by thermodynamic equilibrium. So let me first clarify you in your syllabus the thermodynamic equilibrium is in second unit, second module. But I am taking, I am teaching this before that the completing the first module because before knowing what is the thermodynamic equilibrium, what is the quasi-static process, etc., we cannot go jump directly to the what do you mean by work or what do you mean by closed system work or displacement work. Okay, so firstly, we'll learn what do you mean by thermodynamic equilibrium. Then we'll go through quasi-static process. Then we'll jump towards the or come back towards the displacement work or energy transfer through work. So thermodynamic equilibrium For a system to be in thermodynamic equilibrium, it has to follow three equilibrium. Okay, what are these? First one is thermal equilibrium. Okay, so as the name suggests, you can easily find out what do you mean by thermal equilibrium. Let us consider this is a one body. Okay, and I am considering this body as my system. So this will be the boundary. Okay, now if the temperature inside this body, let us consider this one is T1 at this point. At this point, temperature is T2. At this point, temperature is T3. At this point, temperature is T4. Similarly, so on. Okay. So, if the temperature at different point of this body are different, then what will happen? We know that if there is a temperature difference, there will be a heat transfer. It leads to a heat transfer. Okay. So, what will happen if the temperature T1 is different to temperature T2? So, there will be a heat transfer between the system itself. Okay, so that means system is not in equilibrium. There is a process going on in between in system itself. Okay, so thermal equilibrium condition is the temperature inside the system at every point should be equal to each. Okay, what do you mean by the temperature should be uniform? Okay, there are two terms, let me tell you. First is uniform, second one is steady. You will come across these two words number of times. So what do you mean by uniform and what do you mean by steady? Uniform means no change with respect to position. What do you mean by position? Means if I am changing my position, I am measuring the temperature at different position of my system. The temperature should be the same, or any property. If I am saying any other property is uniform, so the value of that property should be same throughout my system. Then I can call that the property is uniform. Similarly, in case of steady, there is no change with respect to time. Okay, we will study. I will elaborate what do you mean by steady in a while. Let us first consider the thermal equilibrium. So I can define that if the temperature at every point is same in the system, then it is said to be in thermal equilibrium. Okay, so we can, in short, we can write temperature is uniform. Okay, so if I am saying that let time is equal to t1, at time t1 the body whole body temperature was 100 degrees Celsius, and at time t2 whole body temperature is 150 degrees Celsius. So can you tell me whether it is in thermal equilibrium or not? Small t is representing the time and capital T is representing the temperature. Okay, so at time t1 temperature of the system is 100 degrees Celsius, and at time t2 temperature is 150 degree Celsius, and temperature of whole system I am saying similarly here the temperature of whole system is 150 degrees Celsius. So whether it will be in thermal equilibrium or not, it will be in thermal equilibrium. Why? Because in thermal equilibrium condition is that temperature should be uniform. I am not saying that temperature should not change with respect to time. Temperature can change with respect to time. Means if at t1 time t1 is equal to temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, then at that time at every point temperature should be 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, but at another time if the temperature is 150 degrees Celsius, so that means at every point of the system the temperature should be 150 degrees Celsius. Okay, so temperature can change with respect to time, but temperature cannot change with respect to position. That is the condition of thermal equilibrium. So keep in mind. Okay, now next equilibrium is mechanical equilibrium. Okay, so what do you mean by mechanical equilibrium? Mechanical equilibrium is if the pressure at any point in the system does not change with time, then system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium. Okay, so what does that mean? That with respect to time is not changing. So I have just now I told you in previous page that when anything is not changing with respect to time, that it should be steady. So we can here write that pressure, or in case, or we can also say that force is steady. Okay, so what do you mean by pressure is steady? Pressure is steady is if I am measuring the value of pressure at time t1 at any point, if the pressure is 100 kilopascal, so at time t2 pressure should be 100 kilopascal at that point. Okay, so with respect to time, pressure is not changing at particular location. Keep that in mind. I have not said that pressure is uniform. Means, let me tell you once again. Let us consider this is a container. Okay, and in this container I have filled a liquid. Let us consider the liquid is water. Okay, liquid or fluid I have filled. Now, just now we have seen, sorry, just now we have seen, saw the previous pages when we saw what is the pressure here. Sorry, here. Pressure you can find out rho g into h. Okay, so if I want to calculate pressure at any point, let us take this point 1, this point 2, and this is point 3. Okay, let's consider that the head or water column above point 1 is height is h1. Similarly, water column height at above 2.2 is h2, and similarly above point 3 is h3. So I can define that pressure P1, if rho is the density of that fluid which is inside this container, then P1 will be rho into G into H1. Similarly, P2 will be rho into G into H2, and P3 will be rho into G into H3. So all three pressure you can see, these all three are not equal. All three are different. P1 not equal to P2, not equal to P3. But if I am measuring the pressure at time, let us say T is equal to 0, and the pressure is this. So if I am measuring the time T is equal to after 1 hour, pressure at one point should be this much. Similarly, pressure at point 2 should be this much only, and pressure at point 2 should be this much only. So what I want to say कि प्रेशर की वैल्यू टाइम के साथ किसी एक पॉइंट पर वेरी नहीं कर रही है. प्रेशर की वैल्यू डिफरेंट डिफरेंट पॉइंट पर वेरी कर सकती है. जैसे कि प्रेशर पे P1 की P1 पॉइंट पे P1 प्रेशर अलग है, 2 पॉइंट पे प्रेशर अलग है, 3 पॉइंट पे प्रेशर अलग है. बट तीनों पॉइंट पे प्रेशर टाइम के साथ चेंज नहीं कर रहा है. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग इट्स स्टेडी, बट nowhere I am saying that it is uniform. Okay, so the pressure is steady, then there is a mechanical equilibrium. Okay, so how can you establish that it is in mechanical equilibrium? In mechanical equilibrium means there should be a balance in forces that you can easily find out. Why? How? I told you that here the pressure will be working upward. Okay, so at this point what will be the pressure? I am showing you the force balance. Pressure P3, what will be the value of pressure P3? Rho G H3. If I want to calculate the force due to this pressure P3, then what will be the force? F3 is equal to P3 into, let us consider this area of this vessel is capital A. So P3 into A. So I can write rho G H3 into A. Okay, this is the value of pressure or force F3. Similarly, what force, downward force will be acting at this point? The weight of that fluid. So if I am finding out the weight of that fluid, what will the weight? W is equal to same m into g. This is force is acting downward, or this pressure is acting upward. M is same rho into volume into g, and volume you can easily find out area into height into g. This is acting downwards. So from equation 1 and equation 2 you can easily find out that this value of magnitude of this pressure and this pressure are equal and opposites. So that's why net force is 0. So that's why it is in mechanical equilibrium. Okay, so I hope you have now got an idea what is the mechanical equilibrium. Then third one is chemical equilibrium. chemical equilibrium, you can easily understand that if the chemical composition of the system does not change with time, it is said to be in chemical equilibrium. From here, we can easily say, what do you mean by absence? There should be absence of chemical potential. Okay, what do you mean by chemical potential? Chemical potential is that, let us consider a glass. Nice glass. Okay, and in that glass, I have filled water. Okay, so now what I have done, after putting the water, at some point I have poured some sugar into the glass. Okay, so the moment you put the sugar, that because of density, the sugar will go to the bottom of that glass. But slowly, here the concentration of, in this part, the concentration of sugar is higher as compared to water, or as compared to other positions or other locations. So what will happen? Slowly, the diffusion of that sugar will start, and it will move towards, or it will get mixed into whole water. So what is happening? There is a diffusion of mass. So if there is a diffusion of mass, the system cannot, we cannot say that there is a, it is in a chemical equilibrium, because the chemical composition of that system is continuously increasing. So there should be complete absence of chemical potential. Okay, means throughout the system the chemical composition should be same. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be a chemical potential if the composition is different, so that mass diffusion will take place. Okay, so that's it for today. In next lecture, we will go through what is the quasi-static process, and then we'll move towards the thermodynamic work or some, that is. Okay. So if you have any query about all in this, all three, these three lecture, you can call me. Oh, sorry, you can mail me your query. Okay, just mail me your, write a mail to this email ID, and it's ndpdcdbg at the rate gmail.com. I will, as the time permits, I will give you the answer of your queries. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.